All right, I want to introduce you to my UMIDIGI family, which I've acquired over time. We'll go through each one in more of a real-world example. Thought this might be helpful. This is the UMIDIGI 3 watch, which I'll get into in more detail later. This is the F1, this is the F2, and this is UMIDIGI X. And starting with the F1, this one has been working really well with Google Fi. Those of you that have Google Fi, the app, as you switch your SIM to the phone, the app has to re-register with Google Fi, and then it'll authorize the service. Now, it'll still work with the F2 and the X. It just, the service works to a point, but it doesn't fully work. So there are, I don't know why, but there are technical issues where it's not fully compatible with Google Fi. My experience with the F1 has been really good. I also use this to talk on the phone quite a bit and walking through buildings. The F1 was really holding the signal throughout this large building that I'm in. So that one, very positive feedback. The battery life is phenomenal as well. The F2, I really like the screen. The battery life is decent. It's still, for whatever reason, is still not as good as the F1. But the problem I have is it doesn't grab, again, because I believe the registration of the Google Fi, the fact that it didn't successfully link to these, even though I could use it, it was not holding a call very well, and it would scramble in and out a lot. It had a lot of people complain about the quality of that one. And same is true with the X, same issue there. So just real quick, some of the other feature differences. The camera on all of them are okay-ish. The F2 did get better. I feel like the quality was better. There's some quite a bit of improvements here on the F2. The screen I like better. The camera on the F1 is not great. Again, it's in the $200 market, right? When I got that one. Same here. The X I think was slightly less, but picture-wise, that's kind of what I went through. So picture-wise, I would say the F2 is better. The X was a little better than the F1. The F1 was probably the least good as far as quality. At least that's been my experience. They all run and load the apps just fine. I'm using Lyft or whatever GPS apps that you use. No issues there. Then the fingerprint sensor, I really prefer the F2. It's on the side, I found that actually very useful. The F1 is in the back, and after a while it's kind of annoying. You're like, oh man, I gotta lift it up and put my fingerprint there. I do use the fingerprint reader for all of them. And the X is really interesting. It's on the screen itself. Well, of course I've got the camera, so it's locked. It's actually unlocked because of the camera. But if I hide that, let's try this again. You can see it's really cool the way it lights up, seeing green. So you just do that. Just buyer beware, depending on, this has been my experience with Google Fi, just be careful what you're looking for. So that did not work for the X, it did not work for the F2, even though I really like that F2. Probably would work fine for some other carriers in the US. So far the F1 is my favorite working phone, even though this is the F2 is the latest one, which I prefer to use, but I can't because it doesn't work with Google Fi. The other thing, in which kind of, I think is an all-encompassing message to UMIDIGI. So I like where you're going. I like that you're trying so hard, but I don't think you're doing a great job with your software. And this watch is really kind of key in that area. It's a good-looking watch. Yes, it resembles the Apple Watch, some of your other smartwatches out there. The problem with it doesn't do much. It's got a tracker. There's an app, kind of a generic app. It will give you text message notifications, things like that. But it's lacking, like it won't give you the weather, and it doesn't work with really any apps but the custom app that it comes with, which really isn't UMIDIGI's app anyway. It's apparently like a third party. So I really wanted to like the watch, but it's just software-wise is failing. It doesn't do a very good job. So the other phones as well, which I find weird, is the F1 was registering correctly with Google Fi. The others have software issues. It's got to be something with the software. So what I would say to them is spend more time and energy on getting your software up to date and working well with the carriers, and don't spend so much time releasing more and more phones and smartwatches, which really aren't that smart. It just doesn't bring a lot to the table. So I can't even use this. It's other than it's a watch, but I use my tracker instead, which has got a lot more features and will tell me the weather. Anyway, I hope this helps just give you some kind of an idea of where UMIDIGI is going and my experience. I'm looking forward to 5G and to see what sort of 5G phones are out there. Probably going to step away from UMIDIGI for a while and look at some other options. Hope this helps you. Again, there's some good product with the F1, good success there. The others not so much. Thank you. Take care.